You to Decatur tonight, where a crowd of hundreds joined together in mourning. A vigil held right in front of Decatur City Hall to send a message, seeking justice for Steve Perkins. Perkins was shot and killed by police in his front yard. Police say he had a gun. His family says he only had a flashlight.
I am Steve Perkins.
An officer involved shooting that resulted
I am Steve Perkins.
in the death of Stephen Perkins in Decatur.
I am Steve Perkins.
Has sparked outrage in the community.
I am Steve Perkins.
When we come together, we gotta fight this thing as one. You know, we got one goal, and that's justice for who? Steve Perkins! Justice for who? Steve Perkins!
Body cam footage to be released. Well, Decatur Police Chief Todd Pinion issued a statement today.
I am Steve Perkins.
I just heard bam, 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 18 shots. I had got up and came to the window and I seen that he was in the grass by his mailbox. Correlating that with the gunshots, my first thought was that they just killed him. They just killed Steve. I thought somebody was trying to kill me because I heard the gunshots hitting my house. It seemed odd to me that he was laying in his grass and the tow truck was leaving.
Steve Perkins, he was wrongfully accused, and there was a judge, jury, and executioner at his front door. The Scottsboro boys were wrongfully accused, wrongfully put into prison for multiple years before some of them were released. Some of them died in prison. Tommy Lee Hines, he was unjustly put in prison or into a mental institution where he later died, right? So all of these things mirror each other in a way that if you don't put them together, you'll miss the whole story. If you don't put this 92 years of history together as one complete story, you're missing the mark, because all of those people were wrongfully accused by the police and there was no refuge for them in America because they're black men.
Grew up in Decatur. We all went to West Morgan. They went to East Lawrence. Went to Vacation Bible School together. And me and Steve, brother Nick, played basketball all the way up Little League, all the way through. I've known him my entire life. I saw Clay on the Friday before he was killed. I'm a pastor, was leaving church, and I went to Applebee's, and he was in Applebee's. I went, dabbed him up. Friday morning, I got the call, and I'm like, no, that's craziness. The thing about it, I think for most people, especially black men in our community, we saw Steve get killed, but we also saw us. I've got 2 children, just like he has 2 children. We're relatively the same age. We live within 5 miles of each other. We grew up in church families that love the Lord. We grew up in Decatur. You can tell by the response of the community that it's good people around here. And I mean, the way the community has adopted not only his family, but his extended family, he basically galvanized Decatur. People are gonna vote now. People are gonna be for civil rights and all this. So basically his death will not be in vain, because we're not gonna let it be in vain.
Myself and along with other people have been bringing out food to help with the protesters and the people who are out here all night protesting in support of the Perkins family. And this is just something, our way of helping to support this movement.
You know, we know the Tamir Rices, we know the George Floyds, we know the Michael Browns and the Trayvon Martins, and seeing them being killed by the police and white vigilantes is heartbreaking. But in a sense, you can sometimes feel distance because you don't personally know them, but you know it's wrong. We know Steve, Steve is a wonderful human being. He was a man of God. He loved his family. He loved his children. He loved his mother. He loved his brother. He loved his in-laws. He loved his family. He was a real family man, and he loved fitness. And Steve was the type of person, if you ever said anything bad about him, you gotta prove it. You gotta prove it, because he's not a bad person. Like, seriously, he was a lifeline in this world, not just this community, but in this world. He's a person that mattered.
We're just looking for justice for him and his family.
As a country, as a state, as a city, we've got to stand up and say right is right and wrong is wrong. And what they did to Steve was absolutely wrong.
There's no trust in the community after this. We want to see the mayor step up and be a mayor for the entire city for all of us, not just some of us, but for all of us.
We have to mirror who he was. He was a good person, and so we have to put that out in the community. That's how we bring people in the community together and educate them on what happened to him and why it was wrong, and find productive, strategic ways to move forward. That way, nothing ever like this happens again.